Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. It's a beautiful day out today. Just taking a quick walk. Here's what we're doing on the channel today. I have this tool, and it's my version of a clipboard manager. And what it does is it takes basically like a drop-down menu, and whatever you select in the drop-down menu, the appropriate text is put into the clipboard. So the corresponding item on the list is put into the clipboard, and basically you're free to paste it as at your will. It's really neat. It's a little complex to do, but the one thing that I like about it is that it has it makes the spreadsheet come alive. Okay, now I'll explain right here, and I'll explain further in the video how it works. You select from the drop down what it is that you want to put in the clipboard, and then after you select it, the drop down menu blanks out or clears, and then it takes that data, puts it in your clipboard for you to use. There are a lot of elements that I'm going to go over. This is going to be a really fun project. It's a little bit more than your hello world, basically, message box. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. Let's get inside, let's get situated, and let's get set up, and let's get going. Also, you're going to need some popcorn and a drink because this could take a while. Thank you. This is probably the first time I'm calling one of my shot. First thing you need to do is you need to log into Hotspot virtual environment. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're all set up at the desk now. You're tuned here. Get ready for some magic. What we are doing with the clipboard, I've created this device, and it's called a Clipboard Manager version 1.0. And basically what it does is, all right, when you drop, if you notice I have a drop down, and there are several items in the drop down. Basically, when I click on one of those, it puts whatever is associated with that item in my clipboard. So I could put like different things in the clipboard, as you can see here, at any given different time. And that's basically how that works. That's basically a simple function. That's basically all it does. And what we're gonna do is we are gonna create this code for ourselves again. So I'm gonna walk you guys through the process of creating this code with me. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with a blank page. Double click on that. And right off the bat, I'm gonna save it as, I'm gonna save it where I need it to be saved. Save it as a macro enabled workbook. I'm not going to replace that. I'm going to save it as 2.0. Okay, now we have a blank macro enabled workbook. Right off the bat, I'm going to delete sheet 3. This is a 2-sheet project. And that's really what it's going to be. So I'm going to start soon by first putting out some first I need to get my notes in order. All right, now I'll put you guys back on that desktop. All right, now let me go to my projects, Clipboard Manager, and I got my notes out. All right, so basically, sheet 1, I'm going to name it as raw data. And then the other sheet, I'm going to name it as controller. All right, right off the bat, I'm going to like maybe freeze panes at the top. Where is it? Where's my freeze panes at? Bear with me a second. Okay, freeze panes at the top, bro. Okay. Column A is going to be description. And the text. Column B is going to be the text. All right, hit Control Save, save our work as we go. Actually, I did it wrong. It's the controller. Matter of fact, I'm gonna unfreeze panes. I did it on the wrong sheet. My bad. Oh, well, it happens. All right, so I'm gonna go back. Make sure you have the correct sheet selected. Freeze panes at the top row. For my description and the item, whatever it is, the text. Once again, you could put as many items as you want in this. The really cool thing is it just takes that little bit of space there to operate between the list that you put in the spreadsheet and then where you operate the controller is how efficient it is. So let's do that. So I'll start with first, middle, you can do this with all sorts of data. It doesn't matter what you put in there as long as it's text. The text that's in the B column will be put into the clipboard upon execution of this code. Okay, that's me, that's my name. No biggie. All right, save our work as we go. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name this sheet the controller. So I'll right off the bat, I'll merge some cells at the top. Format cells, we'll merge them. Format cells, alignment, merge cells. Now I'll go ahead and put in controller, because this is the controller sheet in which we use to execute the script. So maybe I could do some more formatting and get it to center. And to differentiate this controller, we'll invert the text. And give it its full name. And then we'll create the description. The text. But you won't see it. The way we operated this code, it operates so fast that you're not going to see what happens that fast. So first thing I do is I want to go to data validation, and I want to set it to a custom. I want to go back to raw data and put all the way down to 51. So there's 50 items that I could put in here. Actually, let's do this. Make that to A52, so there's 50 items. All right, so we'll save that. This type of cannot. Really? Actually, we need a list. That's what I'm talking about, a list. Now the list is took. As you see, all the items that I've listed are in the list so far. All right, now what's going to happen is our code is going to take the associated item on this list, populate that cell really quick, put it in the clipboard for paste. So we're going to get started on our code. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you what's going to make your life a lot easier is if you don't have your developer tab, I'll go through how you get that real quick. Options, customize ribbon. If it's not checked, you would check it, and then you would have your developer tab. In our developer tab, we're going to click some Visual Basic. And in our Visual Basic window pops up. All right, so it'll just be big. I'll delete that just to get us prepared here. All right, developer, Visual Basic. All right, now that looks a lot better. Excel's been glitchy today to me. I'm using Excel Pro 210. All right, I'm gonna put code in the sheet controller because I want this code to execute when I select from the drop down menu. Not clicking a button, not doing anything extra. The whole idea is we want to be able to click without taking our hands off the mouse, get something in the clipboard, and go forward from there. So right off the bat, I'm going to put option explicit. All right, what that does, it makes us have to assign and make sure that for every variable we assign, we have well, for every variable we declare, we declare like the type. Oh, let me wake up a little bit with a cup of coffee. Okay, yes. All right. So when you want to option explicit, basically what you want to do is it forces you to explicitly declare all variables using the dim or redim statements. Nothing fancy. And we'll just go from there. Now, this worksheet, we don't want selection change, we want change. So I'm going to delete that. We don't need that right there. Our code will fall in between those lines. So I'm going to start application. Oops. Application volatile. Application calculation. Excel automatic. Okay, and then we're gonna do application enable events later on in the sequence. I'm gonna start now by declaring okay, I'm gonna declare clipboard as MS Forms data object. I'm gonna instruct you guys to do this. You'll have all the basic references that you'll need, except one will be missing. We need Microsoft Forms 2.0 object library. So in order to get that, if it's missing, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to add a form. Insert a user form. Insert a field. Although we're not gonna use it, that's just gonna get us what we need. Save your work while we're at it. All right, now I'm gonna go back to the references. And notice that the Microsoft Forms 2.0 object library has appeared. You're going to need that to make this concoction of a script work, or this macro work. All right, so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to declare a range. I use RNG as range. Declare WS as worksheet. Then we need a second worksheet. Okay. Then we have to set the variables. We have to set the worksheets up so that basically when the variables are called in this macro, our worksheet is identified within the macro. All right, so we'll start with WS. And I believe we are setting it to worksheet raw data. So it'll be worksheets. And then you have your raw data. Then we're going to set the other sheet. And that's going to be controller. Can't get none of this wrong, because if you do, you're going to have an error. Now, workbooks are set. Now we're ready to set our range. Our range is within the worksheet raw data. So I'm going to store it there. So it's going to be identifying worksheet 1, or our raw data worksheet. And if you notice where I put the data before, you would see that that's where I'm going to call this range. So I'm going to stick to, as long as the data that we are calling for is within this range, we are fine. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to application enable events false. All right. Now, here is the heart and soul of this code. And if you get, if anything, you have to get it all right. So I'm going to start, and the purpose of this code is to look up look up data on my sheet. I'll explain it like this. All right, that range I named A2 through B52 is here. Now, this range is going to cover that. And then what we're going to do is look up data in this range, basically, to get our answer. So when I pull the first, I should get my name. When I pull the middle I should get the R, and so on and so forth. So that's basically what this next line of code is going to do, and I'm going to start it off. It's to find the all find what? WS2 dot range and I'm going to go back to my controller sheet because I want to get the ranges correct. So WS2 range B3 that's what we want, range B3, because we need this cell here. The importance of this cell is to make it so that we pass the data. It's like a pass-through, a data pass-through. I'm not sure I come up with a way to make this work without it. I've tried before the making of this video, and it didn't exactly go as planned, but I'm still looking into it. But this is going to be our pass-through cell, and it's going to equal what we find in this range. So it's going to be range dot find, and we're going to put it in like parentheses what, and it's going to be what we are looking for. And this is like using minimal variables in terms of what we're passing through as far as data wise. So we want to find what and put an equal sign, and it's going to be WS2 dot range A3 we're going to tell it look in Excel values, comma, space, look at equals Excel part. Going to tell it which direction to search. And it's going to be Excel by rows. Close the colon. Close. We'll close up the parentheses. Next step, we're going to offset it. And we're going to offset it 0 and 1. Okay, the 0 is up and down, and the 1 is basically left or right. You could go negative or positive, but just to keep it all simple, we're going to go 0, 1 to make this work. Okay. Now we're going to get ready for some a little bit of if and then. So if not, range, and we're going to take range, we're going to take our pass through, which is B3, And if not, is nothing, then, okay, essentially what we're saying is as long as there is something in that cell B3 provided from switching from A2, triggering the information into B3, this code will run. We're going to set our clipboard new MS forms data object. Takes us to the next line. Clipboard. We're going to set text. And we're going to set it at our worksheet 2, which is going to be the controller sheet. We're going to set the text B3 worksheet 2 dot range. Put the text in the clipboard. And then we're going to clear that information from the clipboard and from our pass-through cell right off the bat. So we're going to do A3 set the value to nothing. And how we do that is we use the equal sign and quote, quote, and there's nothing between the quotes. It could be anything you want in between the quotes. But for this instructional video, we're going to put it in as a double quote for nothing. And that resets the page so that we can enter the next thing that we want to put in the clipboard. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other cell we're working with. Same difference. Okay, when we have an if, we're going to end the if. We're going to restore application and enable events. And we're going to put it to true. And we're also going to do the screen dating application. True. All right, so that really concludes the setup of the code. So let's go forward with a little bit of testing. Save our work. I know I haven't been saving a lot lately. And let's see what we have. So I should get an R. Uh-oh. So the code is working somewhat, but it's not doing, there's something that it's not doing. So I'm gonna like come out of it. Save my changes. Enable the content. And still we have the same problem. So what's the problem? This is a good troubleshooting opportunity here. So we're going to step through the code and see what's actually happening. All right, to step through the code, I'm going to click F8. So B3 is first. So it's looking up. It's doing the lookup, right? Okay, so the code runs, but it's not doing anything for my clipboard. So that's the problem. So stay tuned while I figure that all out. Matter of fact, let me get my notes back up while I'm at it. Is all right. So to troubleshoot this code, I'm going to try something a little different here. I'm going to comment out those and see if my clipboard holds data. All right, something is weird. It's going on here. It's like this is not. Sometimes what you will find is like your code, you worked it out perfectly, and then it like doesn't execute properly, or and even though you have the proper code laid out. So sometimes you have to get out of Excel and come back in it. I don't get what it just did. I don't know why it went to a break. Okay, let's see what's happening. This is weird. Huh. All I did was uncomment the code, closed out of it a couple of times, and that's it. Now nothing wants to run. Huh. Okay, something looks right, but it's not doing the clipboard part. So, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna go back to the developer tab. And we're gonna troubleshoot our code. All right. Here's why I gotta pause the video and think. All right, now I know what's missing. And it's a critical line of code. Like I said, every line of code that I wrote earlier is critical, and somehow I glanced over it but missed it. But we have to add a clipboard put in clipboard. This is where we command it to take the text that we set and put it in the clipboard. This should work now. It's easy to it's easy, so you got to really be really detailed when you go over your codes and stuff. It took me just about 5 minutes to find that, but that could take you an hour. You never know, you know. So here it goes. So everything's working perfectly. We'll step through it one more time. And it put what I wanted in the clipboard. Let's see it in real time. And there it goes. I mean, you can't beat it. Just a little bit of troubleshooting, a little bit of time and effort, and you got yourself a little clipboard. Now I could sit here and I go to raw data, I could shrink it, I could hide it, I could add all kinds of nifty informations that I paste frequently throughout the day in this environment. And not just this environment, but to know this is to have a little bit of power and make your life a little bit easier. Because if you have a list of things that you commonly say, or a list of phrases that you commonly use, or a list of sentences that you commonly use, this can be used to make that happen for you. So stay tuned for the conclusion of this video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have successfully, not without a few hitches along the way, we've successfully created the clipboard manager. It's my special tool that keeps things simple. It's neat, it's easy to use, it's really quick, and in my opinion, you can't beat it. If you really like it and you benefited from it, feel free to like the video. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and support the channel. Thank you all for watching and have a great day.